Hello, I am the cartoonist M. Rashid. This cartoon was inspired from the historical events in which the dominant political class, the dominant political identity during slavery, uh, had to recover their wealth hoarding apparatus after the Civil War, collapsed the economy, uh, removing the free slave labor aspect of the American economy at that time broke them, and there was a desperate and mad scramble from the captains of industry, the monopolists, and how they were going to recover. Now, what's interesting is, of course, they built their great wealth by exploiting my ancestors, the freedmen, the former slaves. So they notably worked in the, during Reconstruction. They were immediately trying to figure out how to keep my ancestors in that same condition in some way. When the president was killed and the pro-Confederacy Andrew Johnson was put in his place, Johnson did everything but reinstate slavery. He allowed the state rights. He allowed the states to individually determine how they wanted to deal with the Negro problem. And of course, on brand, white people at that time dealt with the Negro problem with 100 years of lynching and brutality and sociopathic evil. So to keep us from taking advantage of our freed state and the guarantees that the Civil Rights Act of 1866 provided. They attacked us to keep us from being economically whole and competitive equals in the markets with them. They wanted to keep us as a subjugated, exploitable class, the bottom caste, so that they could continue to maintain their dominance as a political identity group, whiteness, at our expense. So whatever we did or whatever they would steal from us and take from us and use us to as the leverage for their own economic come ups. So over the next 150 years after slavery was formally abolished, the dominant class developed an apparatus off the same models designed to continue to exploit the Black American former slave class. And all of our efforts to win civil rights and everything were immediately sabotaged. So the battle, the struggle of our people is definitely an uphill one. Personally, it's impossible to see a way to victory without taking ownership of the spirit, without submitting to God. I don't see how it would be possible. You can't fight the monster of legend and be godless, because you can't do it just from how it looks on paper. You have to use God principles of patient perseverance and fortitude and consistency and stick-to-itiveness and all the principles of the heroes, of the prophets of history. how they were able to overcome great odds. You can't do it just from the flesh. You must submit to powers higher than yourself. All he cares about is himself and him amassing wealth. That's what he banks on. And in the secular realm, it comes with a certain amount of power. But in history, that exact same type of power, often looking indestructible and irresistible, would cave. Like this happened enough times in history to create a pattern. So we can win, but we can't win by ourselves. You can't worship yourself and think to beat the monster. So that's what this cartoon represents. Excuse me. That's what this cartoon represents. It's a caricature of that monster recovering from the economic collapse after slavery and rebuilding an even more horrifying edifice, in the second Gilded Age of the monopolist rule. We defeated by political advocacy and coming together as our own dedicated political identity block, and using our vote and the political apparatus for ourselves. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. We just have to work the system the way it's designed to work, and do not let them knock us off our square the way they've done before. A big part of that is you cannot trust them. You must pull together in yourselves. It's the only way. In the name of God. Peace.